Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Chinese medium tank, the WZ-120 at Tier 9. Now, this is a vehicle that I've actually been really enjoying the last couple of times I've been playing it. There are scenarios where you do very poor, because it has one itty-bitty value that is actually very small in number, but you kind of want to be large, and that is gun depression. This vehicle carries a 122mm, and I gotta say, the gun is amazing. Not only does it have around 2700 DPM for a 400 damage gun. That means that you're out reloading vehicles like IS-4s at tier 10 with your standard shells. Even most tier 9 and tier 8 heavies, you're easily out reloading, even if they deal 400 damage, because you've got such a strong gun. Not to mention great aiming time at 2 seconds, the dispersion at 0.344. While it isn't the best, it is very good for how quick this thing's able to aim in. The biggest issue with this vehicle is just that gun depression. You can see because it's such a thick 122mm, it can't depress at all, only sitting at 3 degrees. Yeah, that's pretty dang bad. Every value on the tank is honestly great. The power to weight ratio is through the roof, it's got a really good traverse speed, and the tank only weighs about 37 tons, which gives it a fantastic top speed of 56 kilometers per hour. It says the average speed is only 36, but I gotta say, after playing it, this thing is extremely mobile. I'm able to even keep up with most light tanks when you drive it. The biggest issue, as I said, is just on any hilly terrain, this thing is a nightmare. It is a kitchen nightmare, as Gordon Ramsay would say, trying to drive. An example is Canyon. I cannot push up middle at all because I can't work the gun depression. So the vehicle like the Emil, the M4190, the Centurion, and actually I guess that's all the gun depression vehicles I have. They can all work the hill. I cannot. So what I gotta do is I gotta push off to the medium side or the heavy. I always go heavy every time I play in this map. I always say never go to that side over there. And the reason for that being is because you get spotted when you're crossing. You can get lit up by enemy opponents if they go mid. And as well, it's really, really unlucky if you even make it over there, because what are you supposed to do? You shoot the people in mid? There's really nobody else you can shoot. So what I do is I like to push my tank off to this side. Now, as you can see, this thing actually does have a very good power to weight ratio. I don't know why Wargaming said that this thing only goes about 36 average, because I'm going 40 and I'm going uphill currently, which... yeah, kind of weird. So hopefully my team is going to spot mid, because if they do, I should be able to get some nice shots into maybe the M4190. I'm going to make my way over to this side, but what I want to do is I'm going to try and see if I spot anybody over here first, because, yeah, definitely got to be a little bit careful, you know, just in case I run into a vehicle like, let's say, the WZ-111 GFT, a very, very deadly Tier 9 tank destroyer. Now, there's the AMX 1390. We got the VK100 right there, and there's actually the WZ-111 GFT, which is great, because that means the VK100, which is not big brain, is all the way off to the side. But look at the gun depression. It is just awful. Like, look how poor it is. I got to pull all the way up over here, but we did penetrate our shell, which is pretty good. And in a couple more seconds here, in fact, 3 more seconds, we'll have another shell ready for the Centurion's turret, hopefully. Yeah, again, just look at how poor that gun depression is. It's bad. Like, you can really see it's going to struggle immensely. Now, we got that VK100 right there. Nice snap into his turret. But, yeah, not super fun stuff is coming towards me. We're going to drive away. In fact, I'm hopefully going to be able to drive away quick enough so that my teammate can help me. Drive away, and yeet around the corner. Perfect. Okay, good. We were able to get back into safety. I did not want to get hit, of course, by enemy vehicles, especially the big ol' alphas they have. So, what are we going to do here? Well, the AMX 5120 is in a little bit of a predicament, and we've also got the the Centurion one, should I say, not the 7-in-1. But nice snap into the Centurion, taking off what was remaining of his hit points. He's not too healthy anymore, and I don't think he's going to want to trade with me, but we're going to climb our way up this hill. We got the Emil right in front of me, who's doing... actually, I'm not really sure what the Emil is doing, to be fair, but I need my M6 Experimental to get a nice shot into him. I'm praying, just tap him once. There you go, nice shot into the Emil myself, and hopefully this M6 is going to be taking some big old shells from me here. Let's back in the cover. There you go, nice miss from the Emil, and boop, get another nice snap. Hopefully this M6 will be finishing him off. I believe in the M6. So you can see that the gun on this tank is fantastic. In fact, if you run it correctly, like, look how good that aiming time is. It's just zoop, and then you just manage to snap your shell. I love the gun on this vehicle, and it's one thing I'll never get tired of, is being able to zoom in so quickly and snap those shells into the enemy opponents. We didn't do necessarily a ridiculous game on damage, but we were able to support our team. We were able to push very quickly onto the enemy sides, and let's just not get hit by that WZ. There you go. Was he shooting at me? No. Okay. I was like, if he was shooting at me, that was a really bad shot. Yeah, you know, that was a really bad shot, to be fair. But the reload's so quick on this vehicle. You can see that by the time we get around this corner and we're able to actually slam a shell into this guy's lower plate, right? And by the way, you'll notice there that I actually wedged my vehicle on the side of the wall. That's how you kind of want to use this tank. If you actually want to get your gun depression workable, you've got to wedge it. Again, you can see here, I'm wedging it on the corner, or, you know, just the elevated terrain, so that way I can aim up, because this thing actually does have decent gun elevation. It's just the depression that sucks. So really what you got to do when you run this tank is be a little bit smart. You got to kind of work your elevation with you. So if I see, you know, I'm on Oasis Palms and I can't shoot somebody, well, I'm going to try and wedge it up a wall or do something that I can shoot the enemy opponent, and that was 3,900 damage in the first battle, so not too bad for a vehicle that a lot of people say is not necessarily the best. In fact, I think myself, I did say in the last video on this tank that I wasn't the biggest fan, but I can definitely say after playing it quite a bit now, I'm really starting to enjoy it. My average damage is going up since I first started playing it, and as well, my win rate is starting to go up. It was about 55% when I made my last video, and now it's going up to 63, so I'm very happy. But of course, let's get stuck into one more game and see if we can keep up that goodness. So, I can say, against tier 10s, this vehicle, of course, struggles. Tier 9 mediums are kind of the worst class, I would have to say, if you're up against tier 10s. A perfect example would be the T-54. Yeah, while it's a strong tank, it's got a really good armor profile, it doesn't have a lot of gun depression, and it doesn't have great penetration in general. Which means that if you're up against a tier 10 medium, that, of course, even a 62A, it's going to easily pen through your upper plate, it's going to overmatch all of your armor, and yeah, you're just going to die. So, this vehicle actually carries alpha, which makes it very strong against tier 10s, because tier 10 mediums don't outtrade you. A vehicle like the Patton, a vehicle like, let's say, even the STB-1. Yeah, if the STB is using gun depression, there's not much you can do, but if you put yourself in a position where you're looking at a hull-down STB, you're playing this tank the wrong way. You'll notice again that I'm going on flat terrain. I cannot work this vehicle over on that side of the map just because I don't have the gun depression to do it. So I could, somebody could argue that I could have sat in that bush there and tried to work it, but I think the best way is I can sit right here and I can try and spot any enemy vehicles that try to pop into the base capture, which is what I would do if I had good gun depression and good turret armor. If I was running, let's say, in a Mil 1, or, well, are there any other, Carnarvon Action 10, that's another good example. I would be popping right into this spot right here, but it looks like the enemy team is actually pushing off to the side. Wow, their whole team actually seems to be pushing over here. Let's see, we got the T-34, who we might just be able to snap a shell into, but that's the Jagdtiger. Back up, back up, back up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. We were able to back into cover. Of course, that's that nice alpha there, being able to snap people for a little bit higher than you normally would. We got that T-34 as well pushing up, but really, if their whole team's in town, what am I going to do? Well, that would be called push off to the side, because I don't think any of their tanks are actually not in town currently, which is great, because I'm just going to push over here, and we're going to see if we can get some shells into these side of vehicles like the Pershing. Aim and fire. There you go. Big ol' shell going into him. This is actually really good for us, because that means we can work the side positions where enemy tanks really can't do much to me. Let's get another... Ooh, maybe not get another shell into that Pershing, but the nice thing is we're kind of in a really good scenario right now. Like, the enemy team can't do much to me, and if they pull out, they're going to lose a lot of HP, of course, because I've got such a nice DPM. There's another nice tap into the Jagdtiger for 411. 5 more seconds, we'll get another shell out, and the enemy team's really not having much of a fallback here. Somebody did miss me, though, and that would be the ISU 152. Amen, and boop! Nice little snap for 433. That's that fantastic aiming time going in there for me, and ooh, that's not what I want too much of there. Let's aim in on the IS. You know what? We might be able to get a shell into the... No, that was a bad shot. We're just going to zip and back up. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Alright, perfect. We were able to back up, and we should be able to get one nice snap into the T-34. We actually out-DPM the T-34 massively, but I can say, somehow my team managed to blow this game so incredibly quickly. I can't really blame myself on this at all, because we really wouldn't have changed much in this game as it is, but as you can see, the DPM on this vehicle is great. It's able to rip enemy opponents apart, and let's just see if we can finish off the T-34. There we go. At least we finished off the enemy opponent that we were aiming at, and we were able to do a decent amount of damage, around 2,800. Again, teams, there's nothing you can do against them sometimes. I really don't know how my team managed to blow that so quickly. That was, what, how long was that game? We can check in detailed. That game lasted 2 minutes and 39 seconds, so my entire team managed to die in about 2 minutes, because, of course, I survived about maybe 30 or 20 seconds longer than my team. So my entire team died in 2 minutes. How does a VK-45 do 300 damage? See, these are the issues I never understand of Blitz. How a full health, tier 9 heavy, manages to die. Well, I guess that's how. But this is the issue with Blitz, I always say. And I will make a rant video very soon on the matchmaker sucking. But as you could see, the WZ-120 is a very strong tank. Even in that scenario where my team fell apart very quickly, I was still able to rack up 2,800 damage. It's not the most ridiculous amount, but it's good enough that I can still average 3,000 in this vehicle for today. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. Now, I will say before I do it on off the video that if you wanted to grind this line, and this tank was in particular stopping you, you're like, I really don't want to deal 3 degrees, you definitely have to have some sort of brain cells to work this tank. The vehicle, like that VK45 player, probably wouldn't do too well in this vehicle, at least not yet, until they learn how to work gun depression and they work on angling and everything like that, because as you saw, I needed to push my tank on flat terrain to work it. Even when I was below that T-34, I still could barely shoot him in the hull. Even, you saw how tricky it was. I thought that shell was actually going to bounce him. So it is really a tricky scenario when trying to work gun depression, especially when you don't have a lot of it. So playing a vehicle like this definitely requires a higher skill cap, but with all the other values going for it, if you learn your maps, you learn your positioning, this can be such a fun vehicle, and I would highly suggest for any of the more higher skilled people that wanted to try and grind this line to go for it. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more like it, please consider smash that subscribe button down below. That was not English, but other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one, hopefully.